This week, CBS This Morning is partnering with digital media company Refinery29 for the series My Vote, looking at the impact of millennial women on the upcoming midterm elections. Alex Wagner spoke with a group of 6 millennial women voters from Pennsylvania at Frankfurt Hall in Philadelphia. The panel included 3 Republicans as well as 3 Democrats. They all plan to vote in November's midterm elections. And in an exclusive clip for CBSN, they spoke about a variety of issues, including feminism and sexual misconduct.
We're all women here. Who among us considers herself a feminist? Raise your hand. Halfway up. Why are you a feminist? What does that mean?
To me, it means that I fight for the equality of women when it comes to equal pay, equal rights, and especially respect.
When I think of a feminist, I definitely don't picture myself. I don't feel like I need to go fight for rights that I already have. There's not a war on women right now.
Yeah, I think feminism is cancer. What right does a woman not have in America today? When you look at the gender wage gap is complete myth.
You think the wage gap is a myth?
Oh, it's absolute myth. When you look at statistically broken down, there is no wage gap. The problem is women typically go into fields that are lower earning than men.
Lauren, are you a feminist?
No. When I hear the word feminist, from what I see in the media, I kind of look at it as a victim kind of mentality. I am all about women's rights, women's equality, and more so equality of opportunity. I do believe there is a gap in wages. I've seen it.
Jessica, when we talk about politicians who have been accused of sexual misconduct, does that matter when you are making your vote?
I think it's a good indicator of their morals and of their values, and so it does matter to me because you can only know so many victims of sexual assault before you have to care. I think it points to a bigger ethical issue, bigger moral issue, because if you can look at someone and view them as less than you and devalue them, then you're going to treat everybody that way.
I think it's an indicator.
If they're true.
Right, it's an allegation. That's not a conviction. They're innocent until proven guilty.
There's a lot of women that say that they were assaulted that weren't actually assaulted, and it takes away from the women who were assaulted. We have men literally having to go to court with pulling out text messages from women who claim that they were raped when they really just regretted having sex with that man. That is just so repulsive that women are lying about being raped. Regret is not rape.
These are tough conversations to have, and there feels like there's a real steep divide in this country between the left and the right. How many of you have friends who are from opposite parties? You're still friends with them,
right?
Oh, yeah.
Tell me about those conversations that you have with them.
Some of them are really enlightening because it helps push me, like, I'm an experienced debater, so I can see both sides, but to really, really draw me in has been helpful to help me wrap my mind around what is the argument that's missing from this, to bring people together on that common, okay, we all agree on this one minimal feature, so let's start there and build very, very slowly from that. So I love those conversations, even if they make my blood pressure, go really high for a while. It comes back down.
You're laughing, Colette.
Well, because it's so polarized right now. I hear my husband angry typing, in the next room.
Hate typing.
Exactly. I mean, people are getting very, very worked up.
All right, Yael Cohen is the executive editor at Refinery29 and joins us here. What a fascinating discussion and a really good group of women. So let's maybe start off where the conversation ended about the polarization in this country. What do those women feel what's responsible for that? Where's the root cause?
I think polarization is a really interesting topic. It's something that a lot of young women talk about. I think social media has led to a lot of the feelings that you cannot say in public what it is you are thinking. I think speaking on social media is different than speaking one-on-one with individuals. As we see on that panel, there are a group of women with diverse views all in a room talking about issues that are, and they all have different views on it.
They're reasonable.
Yes.
And kind with each other.
And kind with each other. And at various points in the panel, one will disagree with one, but then agree with the other. And no two people are always vehemently agreeing with the other one.
Right.
So I think that polarization, we talk about it left versus right, but when you break it down by issue, there are a lot of nuances and complicating factors there, and that if people could just speak one-on-one or in person and take it off social media. She talks about angry typing.
Yes.
I think that there would be a difference in feeling about how people engage with one another.
That is a brilliant observation, that the conversation online is not the same as it is face-to-face, but you might read stuff online and think, you know what, that topic is definitely off the table at a dinner party or whatever.
Yes, exactly. And also on social media, you see everything that people are posting. You have a window into everybody's views in a way that you didn't in the past.
They started off talking about feminism.
Yes.
What I thought was really interesting was that they almost all had different definitions of what feminism is, and it was sort of surprising to me because I think of the history of feminism, the late 60s into the 70s, and it had a clear definition and a clear purpose, but these women don't seem to sort of be aware of that. We were really surprised at Refinery 29 at how few millennial women actually identified as feminists. It was something like 46%. And given how popular it is in popular culture, Hollywood actresses, brands putting it on t-shirts, it was surprising to us. And what we found, we followed up with women who were polled, and what we found was it's not that women disagree with the values of feminism. They all agree that they believe in equal rights. But the word feminism is a little polarizing. A lot of them felt that it's become very left-wing, that it's associated with a certain kind of left-wing politics that doesn't necessarily align with other aspects of their identities. Right. Oh, that's very fascinating. So the core of what feminism is all about, which is sort of equality, is fine, but all the other trappings, you know, they don't necessarily want. You know, you can't just slap a sticker on someone and say you agree with everything under this label.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's fascinating. So do you think if you talk to, you know, people who were women who were a little bit older or a little bit younger, you would get different answers than what you see here?
I think you would. Younger women do identify as feminists more so than older women. So in some ways that's a success story for feminism, that younger women do see themselves that way. But I think even when you're looking at Me Too, for example, you'll end up with older women who have different views than younger women on how much that's going to impact them at the polls.
Yeah. Well, you know, the reason we're having this conversation is because millennials, not just the women, but millennials are going to be the largest voting bloc, and they're going to be able to shape these midterm elections if they get out and vote. And these women are interested in voting.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to ask you about their interest in politics and whether or not the current climate, if they talked about the fact that the current climate may or may not have had an influence on their desire to take part in midterm elections, because, you know, a lot of people sort of sleep through the midterm elections.
I think it was great in this panel that the women are all going to be voters. The poll did find that while 70% of young women are either dissatisfied or angry with the Trump administration, only 30% are definitely going to vote. So they have the power to be the most important demographic, but will they seize that? Will they take it is the open question coming up in this election. I think a lot of them are impacted by the polarization.
Fascinating information. Yael Cohen, thank you very much.
Thank you.